Good morning. I am so thrilled to see you bright and early today. I am Swamini Adityananda Saraswati, your intern minister, and I am delighted this morning to be joined by our guest minister, our beloved Reverend Dr. Arvid Straube. For you that may not know this amazing gentleman, Reverend Dr. Arvid Straube was a UU parish minister for 35 years. He has served congregations in Washington State, North Carolina, and from 2004 to 2014, for you trivia lovers, he was our minister right here, the lead minister of this congregation. During his ministry at First UU, our congregation built the Welcome Center right out there and established our South Bay campus. I think we... Reverend Dr. Straube earned a Master of Arts in Divinity at the University of Chicago and a Doctor of Ministry at Meadville Lombard Theological School. In 2013, Meadville Lombard also presented him with an honorary Doctor of Divinity. Currently, he has a ministry of spiritual direction and teaching. So many warm welcomes to you, Reverend Dr. Straube. For our opening reading today, I'd like to share something very special that I first heard at a 3-month-long meditation retreat. It's a poem by one of the Buddha's first female monastic disciples. She was alive in his time and knew him. Her name was Vijaya. And this translation of her ancient poem, I believe, still holds relevancy today. It can be found in the book, The First Free Women. She wrote, "When everyone else was meditating, I'd be outside circling the hall. Finally, I went to confess. I'm hopeless, I said. The elder nun smiled. Just keep going, she said. Nothing stays in orbit forever. If this circling is all you have, why not make this circling your home?" I did as she told me and went on circling that hall. If you find yourself partly in and partly out, if you find yourself drawn to this path and oh so drawing away, I can assure you, you're in good company. Just keep going. Sometimes the most direct path isn't a straight line. Blessed be.
And I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we sing our opening hymn, number 108, My Life Flows On in Endless Song.
Far of him that hails anew.
So good morning once again, and welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of San Diego, where we worship every Sunday in South Bay and in Hillcrest and online.
Buenos días y bienvenidos a la primera Iglesia Unitaria Universalista de San Diego, donde adoramos cada domingo en South Bay, en Hillcrest y en línea.
Our community is a vital, diverse, multi-generational congregation without borders, with a mission to create community, nurture spiritual growth, and act on our values to help heal the world.
Somos una congregación compuesta de personas de distintas identidades racializadas y culturas, personas de diversas orientaciones sexuales e identidades de género, personas de varias habilidades mentales y físicas.
We are creators of community and compassion, and though we can fall short, we're committed to practicing an affirming welcome to all.
Con espíritu de reverencia, reconocemos que nos juntamos esta mañana en la tierra de los Kumeyaay, quienes continúan viviendo en todo su territorio. Al emprender este viaje juntos, mantengamos en nuestros corazones y mentes el pueblo Kumeyaay.
In a spirit of reverence, we acknowledge that we gather this morning on the land of the Kumeyaay, who continue to live throughout this area and their territories. May the light of this candle shine for our commitment to the Kumeyaay people and to justice and equality for Indigenous people everywhere.
And invite you once again to rise in body or spirit as we sing our church hymn and recite our church aspiration. May love be the spirit of this church. May the quest for truth be its sacrament and service be its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, and to help one another in fellowship. This is our aspiration. Que el amor sea la doctrina de esta iglesia, la búsqueda de la verdad su sacramento y el servicio su oración. Vivir juntos en paz, buscar la verdad con libertad y ayudarnos mutuamente en comunidad. A eso aspiramos. And good morning, friends. I'd like to invite any of the children or youth who would like to come up and join me for our time for all ages. Oh, good. I know. Oh, look, here comes a youth. Oh, and another youth. Well, good morning.
So we're going to talk a little bit today about the Platinum Rule. But first, let's take a look at the next slide, because today we're thinking about mottos. And I wonder if you've ever heard that word. Do you know what a motto is? I almost thought about calling this Time for All Ages, "What's a motto you?" But I decided against it. So let's take a look at the next slide. A motto is a short phrase that helps remind us of how we want to live. And sometimes I think we see mottos quite a lot on bumper stickers. Like you've probably seen this one in one form or another out in our parking lot at some point. It's probably out there right now. I would take a bet on that. So let's take a look at the next slide. One motto that shows up in the writings of a lot of the world's religions is called the Golden Rule. Do you know what the Golden Rule is? Have you heard of that one before? Sort of, kind of. Do you know it? No? Let's take a look at the next slide. In Buddhist tradition, the Golden Rule is expressed this way: do not treat others in ways that you yourself would find hurtful. Let's take a look at the next one. In the Jewish tradition, it's expressed this way: what is hurtful to you, do not do to your neighbor. This is the whole of the Torah. The rest is commentary. Let's take a look at the next one. Christian tradition says, do unto others as you would have done unto you. And the next one, Islamic tradition says, not one of you truly believes until you wish for others what you wish for yourself. So let's take a look at the next one. It seems like a pretty good motto, yes? Would you all agree the Golden Rule is a fairly good motto? But if you think about it, you might find a way to make it even better. So let's take a look at the next slide, because this is sort of a problem with the Golden Rule. If others don't want to be treated the same way you want to be treated, you might be fooled into thinking everything is okay just because you think it's okay. So the Golden Rule works well as long as you want to be treated the same way I want to be treated. But we see even nowadays, I mean, when I think about just some of the hurt and harm around pronouns, that people won't treat others the way they want to be treated, the Golden Rule has sort of a problematic little loophole, if you will. So let's take a look at the next slide. I wonder if it wouldn't be better to ask someone else how they'd like to be treated and then treat them that way. And funny enough, on the next slide, that's called the Platinum Rule. I don't know if this was like a UU invention thing, but I do see it a lot in UURE pages online. And the Platinum Rule essentially says, treat others the way they want to be treated. So let's take a look at the next one. So one of the interesting things, I think, is to live by the Platinum Rule, we have to get to know people. So it makes listening and building relationships important parts of how we decide to act toward one another. We can't just go around and sort of non-thinking, treat everybody the way we want it to be treated. To be moral or ethical people and follow the Platinum Rule, we really have to get to know each other. Relationship is really central to our moral way of acting. And so next slide, I think that makes it a pretty good motto to live by. Would you agree? Oh, great. Well, thank you to our youth who came up today. And now I'm going to invite you to rise with me and lead the congregation in our affirmation. We'll say it first in English and then in Spanish. We are Unitarian Universalists, a people of open minds, loving hearts, and welcoming hands. Somos unitarios, universalistas, personas de mentes abiertas, corazones amorosos, y manos que dan la bienvenida. And I would invite all of the children or youth who would like to meet their leaders, which you're one of, that's your reminder, up on the patio for religious education.
Thank you so much, Tony. That was fun. And may we all practice that special Platinum Rule today and all days. I'd like to make a few announcements. First of all, lay ministers, as many of you may know, are available after service every Sunday. They offer a listening presence and open hearts. And this morning's lay ministers are Chris Smith and Brandon Hall, who are over here. It is Chris. Thank you so much. Today, at 1:00 p.m., we would like to invite all members to join the board for a special membership meeting on Zoom. There will be time for discussion on the 2 proposed constitutional amendments. And then, after the discussion, voting will open. You can find more information in the members-only section of this website, of our website. And lastly, very sadly, we would like to invite you to please join us, if you can, for the celebration of life for Reverend Jim Grant, affiliated minister. It will be held on Saturday, February 24th at 1:00 p.m. here in this meeting house and online. Following the service, there will be a reception in Bard Hall. And now, I'd like to call up Mitch Mitchell to join us with a few words from our nominating committee. Mitch, if you could please join us.
Good morning. I'm the chairman of this year's nominating committee. And it went away. This year's committee is tasked with finding members of the church who would like to step up their involvement, their involvement with the church by becoming part of the board of trustees. So these are exciting times for the church with lots of big congregational decisions about our future looming on the horizon. Being part of the board of trustees gives you the opportunity to have a leadership role in these decisions and other policies, issues, and actions necessary to govern a dynamic institution like ours. This year, the nominating committee has the challenge of finding candidates to fill the 5 Board of Trustees positions that will be on the ballot at the membership meeting in June. On the committee with me are Christy Anderson, Randy Brenton, Susan Orman, and Sarah Orman and Susan Regal Harding. If you're interested in learning more about what being on the Board of Trustees entails, you'll find us on the patio after the service. We'll have on these bright orange scarves because orange, you're willing to serve on the board. Thank you.
So are they wearing those orange scarves just because they want to match me? So one way we live our values is by sharing an offering each week with a local organization working for justice. As many of you know, all of us know, in January and February, parts of San Diego, especially southeast San Diego, experienced catastrophic flooding, causing damages to homes, vehicles, businesses, farms, and communities. This month, this entire month, our offering will be received in support of the San Diego Flood Response Fund, organized by the San Diego Foundation. The fund will make emergency grants to nonprofit service organizations engaged in disaster response and relief throughout San Diego County. You can donate this morning here in person by credit card using the dip jars over there, or by cash or check using the donation boxes, which I think are over on this side now, if I'm not mistaken. If you'd like assistance, please raise your hand. You may also donate online at our church's website at firstuusandiego.org. Thank you for your generosity. This morning's offering will now be gratefully received. Thank you so much for helping your neighbors in this difficult time for them. Our reading for today, our poetry reading, is called Self-Portrait by David White. It doesn't interest me if there is one God or many gods. I want to know if you belong or feel abandoned. If you can know despair or see it in others, I want to know if you are prepared to live in the world with its harsh need to change you. If you can look back with firm eyes, saying, "This is where I stand." I want to know if you know how to melt into that fierce heat of living, falling towards the center of your longing. I want to know if you are willing to live day by day with the consequence of love and the bitter, unwanted passion of your sure defeat. I have heard in that fierce embrace, even the gods speak of God.
I invite you to join in singing our meditation song, Where Do We Come From? The words are on the screen. You can join me singing the part I'm singing or sing any of the parts as you are so moved. Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where do we come from? Mystery, mystery, life is a riddle and a mystery. Mystery, mystery, life is a riddle and a mystery. Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where do we come from? Mystery, mystery, life is a riddle and a mystery. Mystery, mystery, life is a riddle and a mystery.
It's great to be here on this side of the podium. Thank you. I'd like to invite you to join me in a meditation that's 2,500 years or more old. It was taught by the Buddha. It's a loving kindness meditation. We're going to do a version of it today. If that's not what you want to do, this is a special, precious time in what may be a busy life for you. So you could just take this time for your own meditation, prayer, reflection. But those of you who would like to, you're invited to join me now in this ancient practice. So you can pay attention to your posture, maybe a straight back. If you want to close your eyes, that's fine. And pay attention to your breathing at the center of your chest, at your heart center. Notice breathing out there. Notice breathing in there. And get in touch with the most basic longings that you have. And send yourself good wishes, friendly wishes. For instance, may I be safe from outer and inner harm. May I be happy. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. Notice always the center of your chest, at your heart, as you say these phrases to yourself, or phrases of your own. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be well. May I live with ease. And now bring to mind people you love and send them those same wishes. Just as I wish to be safe, so may you be safe. Just as I wish to be happy, so may you be happy. Just as I wish to be well, so may you be well. Just as I wish to be peaceful and at ease, so may you be peaceful and at ease. Be safe. Be happy. Be well. Be peaceful and at ease. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be well. May you live with ease. May you live from the peace of your true nature. And now, you may notice some warmth at the center of your chest, or not. Just spread those good wishes to the person on your left, to the person on your right. And include everyone in this room in that friendliness, in those good wishes. And everybody on this campus and everybody in this city. And let that goodwill spread to the entire earth, to all living things. May all beings be safe. May all beings be happy. May all beings be well. May all beings be peaceful and at ease. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. And may it be so. This morning, I'd like to share with you 3 mottos that I try to live by. Now, I'm not perfect at this. This is an ongoing project for me. But these are short phrases that I try to remember so that I can live from my deepest values. I often forget, in the habit of daily life, And if I can keep these mottos in mind, it keeps me from acting on some of these unconscious habits. So you may want to listen to what mine are, but I'm inviting you to reflect on what your mottos might be. So, I don't have any tattoos. All right, I'm not going to get any tattoos. Some people think I should be getting a tattoo, but I'm not going to. But if I were to get one, it would be this phrase: don't believe everything you think. Don't believe everything you think. So right now my ministry is working as a spiritual director. It's sort of like a spiritual life coach or a companion for people on their spiritual journey so that they can reflect with someone who holds their journey sacred on their spiritual life together. It's a very fulfilling and rewarding ministry. But I'm finding that, of course, conversations about people's struggles and suffering come up. And very often, this suffering is because of these stories or thoughts that keep emerging, that people, they keep coming up, they're messages that say things like, you have to be perfect, or you're ugly, or you are any good, or you're helpless. There's many variations. We all have our favorites, right? And sometimes it's a revelation if I mention to people, you really don't have to believe these thoughts. They don't have anything to do. They are not personal. They just come about because those thoughts have been conditioned into you at an early age. These thoughts at one time served you when you were helpless and young, and they still think they're serving you. We all have those young selves within us, and they're still trying to serve you, but they're not helping. So, according to Buddhist psychology, what happens is that certain conditions arise that trigger some of this conditioning and these negative stories that we tell ourselves. And it's only the result of kind of a natural process. Conditions arise. So if we believe these stories, they get stronger. If we resist these stories, they can get stronger. So I had one client who had a very clever way of dealing with these unhelpful stories in her life. She could really identify them. And you guys remember some of you do, the comic strip Peanuts and the strip where Lucy is holding the football for Charlie Brown, right? And this is a recurring strip in that comic series. So Lucy's holding the football and she's getting Charlie Brown to kick the football, and then she pulls the football away at the very last second and Charlie Brown falls on his back. And next time she says, this time I won't do it. No, really, I'll hold it for you. And she does it again and again. And Charlie Brown falls for that every time. So this client of mine decided to name these unhealthy narratives Lucy. And when they came up, she would say, oh, hi, Lucy. There you are again. I'm not falling for it this time. Another way of looking at this that I find helpful is when these unhelpful conditioned thoughts come up, I can just say, thank you for trying to protect me, but I have this now. Thank you for trying to protect me. I've got it. So that's the first motto. Don't believe everything you think. Excuse me. The second model is that when I run into difficult situations, I ask myself, is this true? How do I know? Is this true? How do I know? Martin Marty, who was one of my professors at Divinity School, used to say that we all live in mentally furnished rooms. We all have a set of ideas, convictions, ideologies that we usually develop as we're young adults or late teens. And then we require this intellectual furniture. And if we're not careful, we get too comfortable with it. We don't ever change anything about it. Our ideas and opinions might get ratty and frayed. And because we're so used to it, we don't even notice. There might even be stains on the carpet of our worldview, but we don't even notice them. Other people do. We have cluttered piles of opinions that we haven't sorted through in years, and we don't even notice. And if it's really bad, there might even be some forgotten ideological pizza boxes stinking up the place. You know, as far as our convictions and opinions go, and our worldview, it's good to at least dust and tidy once in a while, don't you think? And at some point, we might even need to replace major items of our ideological furniture. I became a UU as a young adult, and one of the first ministers I had said something in a sermon that I won't ever forget. He said, if my ideas aren't different than they were a year ago, at least to some degree, then I've been closed-minded and lazy. That really landed with me. You know, we get so comfortable with the way we see the world, with our opinions, our convictions. Sometimes they're not based on anything. That's true. The Buddha talked a lot about greed, and one of the most harmful forms of greed, in his opinion, was actually greed for opinions. So we have a rather vast universe, would you agree? It's like we don't even know how big it's a big universe. How much do you think human beings know about that? How much do you think, what percentage do you think you know about that? That's a scary thought. You know, that we are in this vast universe. If we think about it, sometimes maybe you do, I feel vulnerable. And because we feel vulnerable, we build these ideological containers so that we can feel safe. Their ideas, opinions, they can even harden into identities. And these identities can harden, people actually can fight and die for their identities, which may not even be true in a large respect. So, think about it. All the human-caused suffering in this world right now, most of it is caused by people who are 100% sure they are right. It's very, very, very difficult if we think we're 100% right. And if somebody disagrees, what do you do with that person? You can dismiss them. You can dehumanize them. You can argue with them and try to convert them. We have Twitter for that, you know. It can even get so bad that we try to kill them. Yeah, we have to clean up our act as human beings if we're to survive, and we have to start with ourselves. The Zen master Bernie Glassman wrote, "As soon as we know something, we prevent something else from happening. When we live in a state of knowing rather than unknowing, We're living in a fixed state of being where we can experience the endless unfolding of life. Things happen anyway. Nothing ever remains the same, but our notions of what should happen block us from seeing what actually does happen. We get upset because our expectations aren't met. When we let go of them, we are in accord with things as they arise. We like the phrase, "let it be." The truth is, we have no choice. So, here's a little exercise. You like to do these thinking games, right? Here's one for you. Take one of your most cherished opinions. It can be about politics, it could be about religion, it could be about sports, music, whatever. Take one of your most cherished opinions and write out everything that supports your point of view on a piece of paper. Everything you can think of. And here comes the hard part and the interesting part. Then make a list of all the arguments that contradict that opinion. I dare you. So, my third motto is, where is the love in this? When I run into a difficult situation, I don't often remember to do this, but when I do, it makes all the difference. Where is the love in this? So, one time I did an experiment. I decided one day I was going to count every time I did even the least bit of judgment of other people. You know, it could be some little judgment about their appearance or how they drive or, something I see on the news or whatever. I just started counting. I counted them, and I don't think of myself as a particularly judgmental person, unlike some people. But there were so many of them. It was disconcerting. Actually, at one point, it got to be absurd, and I had to laugh about the whole thing. I take my cue when I can from the Dalai Lama. I try more and more to remember this. Be kind whenever possible. It is always possible. Buddhism teaches that the purpose of life is to be happy, and the Dalai Lama reminds us, everyone wants to be happy and doesn't want to suffer. Everyone wants to be happy. Everyone wants to be happy and doesn't want to suffer. The problem is that we as humans often end up looking for happiness in all the wrong places that don't create happiness, but actually create suffering. We do this out of ignorance. And as we know, by reading the newspaper or listening to the news, humans can do some very ignorant and very cruel things in the mistaken belief that it will make them safe from their fears. Everybody wants to be happy. Nobody wants to suffer. Even Putin. Even Trump. Now, I want to say this very clearly. That does not mean we have to accept that. That does not mean we passively allow that harm to continue. That does not mean that we don't have the responsibility to do everything in our power individually and collectively to stop that suffering from happening. Recognizing this fact does not excuse the harm. But we do need to be careful, I think, of not sending ill will, not having ill will for anybody, not wishing them harm, only wanting them to stop. So, if we hate someone, we may find that we start to get to be like them. And I don't want to have Putin's face. I don't want to have Trump's heart. Maybe you've noticed how much it hurts to push anyone out of your heart. A few years ago, there were a lot of arguments in our Unitarian Universalist movement that were generating more heat than light. People were judging each other all over the place. They were calling each other names, even trying to cancel each other. And it seemed like such a violation of who we were as a religion. And I was very distressed and angry about it. I was talking to a very good colleague and friend of mine. And I said, what do we do? What can we do to make it better? He said, all of this comes out of fear, he said. And any solution that comes out of fear is only going to make things worse. So think about where we can respond out of the higher vibration of love and see that broader perspective. I've been trying to, when I run into a difficult situation, think about my next act and whether it would be an act out of love or fear. So, what are your mottos? What kind of reminders can you adopt that will help you live from your deepest values? If you do that, I think you'll find that it'll help you live your life more on purpose, and I think perhaps lead to a happiness not as affected by outer conditions. And it will allow more love and less fear in this world by your choices. May it be so.
I invite you once again to rise in body or spirit and join me in our closing song, Answering the Call of Love, number 1014 in the Teal hymnal, and the words are on the screen. The promise of the Spirit, faith, hope, and love abide, and so every soul is blessed and made whole. The truth in our hearts is our guide. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are answering the call of love. Sometimes we build a barrier to keep love tightly bound, corrupted by fear, unwilling to hear, denying the beauty we found. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are answering the call of love. A bright new day is dawning when love will not divide. Reflections of grace in every embrace, fulfilled
By faith we dare to proclaim, we are answering the call of love. We are answering the call of love.
Roshi Bernie Glassman's words. As soon as we know something, we prevent something else from happening. When we live in a state of knowing rather than unknowing, we're living in a fixed state of being where we can't experience the endless unfolding of life. Things happen anyway. Nothing ever remains the same. But our notions of what should happen block us from seeing what actually does happen. We get upset because our expectations aren't met. When we let go of them, we're in accord with things as they arise. We like the phrase, let it be. The truth is, we have no choice.